Hello everyone and welcome to another session of AP Human Geography Review with Mr. Elrod. Today we are going to be discussing the sector model. So as we look at the sector model, last time we were together we were looking at the concentric zone model. We can see just some of the basic characteristics of the model. Just some basic information. First of all, it was developed by the geographer Homer Hoyt in 1939. It was developed in direct response to the concentric zone model. Remember, the concentric zone model is primarily based upon cost of land in relationship to the central business district, as those who are willing to pay more for certain tracts of land, and is kind of discussed and described by the bid rent curve. Homer Hoyt did not believe that this went far enough to describe the arrangement of activities and people around the central business district. So he designed a model that is going to be described as a series of wedges instead of a series of rings as shown in the concentric zone model. So we still have five categories as discussed by the concentric zone model also. We have our low class residential, we have our light and wholesale manufacturing, we have our medium class residential, we also have our high class residential. Now you'll notice we have a series of wedges again. Pretty much all of them are connected to the central business district because, as we know, the central business district is the most important element of the model because really everything kind of revolves around the central business district. So you'll notice that all of the wedges, except for this low class residential area, is touching the central business district, and they radiate away from the central business district. That's because he believed there was a network of transportation of some kind that would run itself down the middle of the wedge and allow these areas to build up around that. We'll talk more about that in just a second. Again, so it's based upon transportation networks and not necessarily the cost of the land. Each of these wedges allows for the individuals to gain access to the central business district, with the exception of this low-class residential area, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. Now, the other thing we notice is that each of these sectors creates a buffer. Um, you see that the sectors actually separate different activities from others, and again, we'll talk about that in just a second. So those are some of the basics of the model, and we'll go to the next slide so we can get a little bit larger view, and we'll pull up my marker here so that we can mark some things. Okay, so again, this idea that there is some sort of transportation network. Now, this could be a rail of some kind, light rail that's gonna bring people out, heavy rail for the industrial. Maybe a road. Again, we're in the 1930s and 1940s, so we're not talking about interstate highways or anything like that. But we have some sort of method of transportation that's going to radiate out from the urban center to the places where people are participating in their different activities. Again, access to the central business district is crucial. So these red lines might represent some node of transportation that's running down the middle. So again, we notice how these wedges kind of evolve along the different methods of transportation. Now, the other thing that I mentioned is that you have this low-class residential area that is not necessarily connected to the central business district. This would be because these folks would be primarily concerned with participating with the wholesale and light manufacturing because that's where they would be working, the place that's close by where they could get to work. So, but you still might have maybe a mode of transportation running out from the central business district in this particular direction. Then if we also look at the wedges as creating separation of space, now notice how the low-class residential is going to separate the manufacturing and light industrial areas from both the medium class residential and also the high class residential. It's going to create a buffer. And then also notice that the medium class residential creates a buffer between the low class residential and the high class residential. Again, I talked about in the concentric zone model that the upper class individuals want to create separation from themselves in order to protect their property values, protect their communities and schools from the stigma of the urban poor and things along those lines. So that helps to reflect that particular concept. And of course, you know, those who are going to be closest to the high class are going to be those who are medium classes. Of course, the middle class are looking to get away from the impoverished areas as well. But anyway, so that's just a basic review and overview of the sector model. I hope that helps you to understand that just a little bit better. Again, always subscribe and like to my channel, like my videos, subscribe to my channel. Leave me some comments, let me know what you think, and give me some topics that I might review so that I can help you prepare for the exam.